is Ethiopia's first youth agribusiness incubator. Youth is for us 15 to 29, and agribusiness really covers the range of the entire value chain from input delivery, production, post-production, quality management, storage, logistics, data systems, IT for ag, financial technology. It could be in livestock, it could be in fisheries, it could be in forestry, it could be dairy, honey. So really we've got a very broad idea of agribusiness, and our interest is to find innovative, scalable, and potentially transformational businesses that we would incubate, meaning that for 4 months, we would really coach the businesses to go from an idea, like a great idea, to an investable business. So it was really around the idea that, we have a lot of youth programs that different NGOs are doing, Save the Children, I could list a number of them. And there's a lot of talk about youth employment and entrepreneurship training. And you have like the Entrepreneurship Development Center that is training, thousands of people, youth and not youth. And then there are other programs, youth focused. But what I saw is a gap. And the gap is that a lot of these are creating micro enterprises, which are usually low-risk ventures. Like somebody says, I'll buy a cow, I'll milk it, I'll sell the dairy, and that's my micro-enterprise. And so they will, hire 1, 2, 3 people. It's not a very scalable business. That doesn't have much innovation content. And usually the program will be linked to microfinance, which is also low-risk capital. So microfinance is, okay, you buy a cow, I'll give you the money, in 6 months you return the loan. But for a high-risk, completely innovative idea, where do you get high-risk capital, and where do you get the kind of support you need to take a high-risk idea, an innovative idea, and a scalable idea to make it reality? So I felt that could be my contribution in Ethiopia, is to really create a stage or a platform for high-risk, innovative ideas to be supported, matched to high-risk capital, and really see where that goes. Why? First of all, and nobody needs to be convinced of this, agriculture is the mainstay of our economy. However, our definition of agribusiness includes some of the things that other people think of as industry, or some people might think of as IT. So ag it has how do you say, linkages or overlap with many sectors: industry, processing, technology, financial. And the other thing is that if you think about the numbers, agriculture and agriculture related is 44% of the GDP. Agriculture itself hires 81% of the labor force. So it is the big animal in the room. And if we talk to the people we often talk to, which are the investors, the private equity funds currently operating in Ethiopia, some of the venture capital firms that are starting operations in Ethiopia, they will tell us all the time that 80% of the proposals that they're getting and that they're financing are in agriculture. That this is the nature of our economy. I've been traveling in different parts of Africa and looking at, starting business in different places. And unfortunately, even though our economy is growing very fast, I feel that we really need to improve the business climate, particularly for new companies, particularly for young entrepreneurs, and for startups who are doing things like what we're talking about, high-risk ventures. It's still very, very difficult to start a business, very difficult to close a business. The tax policy is still not very encouraging. And it's not just the policy, administration of tax is also very, very difficult. Even our company, we spend, 1 or 2 days per month just making the payment itself or doing all the paperwork. So the bureaucracy around how you pay taxes. We see now in other countries that people are paying tax on mobile. On your mobile phone, you can make a mobile payment to pay your tax. Here you have to spend days paying your tax. If you are a 2-person company, 1 or 2 days of your month spent trying to pay your taxes is really, really difficult. Not to mention that there are also many issues with how to find service providers. I talked about the Biz for You, but obviously that's something, service that's only being offered for our incubated companies. But if in general, how do you find reliable service providers? Where do you find a reliable lawyer? Where do you find somebody to, do your marketing for your branding? I mean, it's word of mouth. We don't have a Better Business registry. We don't have a directory that, you have an evaluation. So I'm proposing a new business idea right there. Somebody should do, like a rating system for small, service providers for businesses. There you go. There you go. Well, I think that, Ethiopia is a fast-growing country. And when you are looking at Ethiopia from the outside and from anywhere around Africa, there's a lot of admiration for a government that is delivering on the promises of infrastructure, on a very solid investment in, in education and health. And so and a relatively stable government where, things more or less work. And I think I hear this comment from people in Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, really all over Africa, that there's a lot of admiration and respect for the way that the country really has been evolving over the last 2 decades in terms of the growth story, the growth of infrastructure, the construction boom. All these things are very positive. And I think now what we're trying to do is say, okay, this is great, but now we need also to open up some space for, entrepreneurs that can really leverage all these good things that have happened. And now, think about a knowledge economy. We're building a lot of infrastructure. The industrial base is now getting started. And now how do we build knowledge content? How do we think of innovative businesses? How do we think of, getting, businesses that really build on the base that's there? So I think for me, the challenge is not so much that there's so many problems and it's not workable. It's how do you carve out sort of a knowledge economy. I would wish that in our Ethiopian society, we empower young people to think they can change the world. I've been giving an example of how one of my colleagues who went to Bardar University here, she was the top student. She was studying engineering. She got a scholarship and she went to do her master's in Finland. And when she got to Finland, she met with her advisor and he said, so what classes are you going to take? And she said, I don't know. What are you going to tell me to take? And he said, but it's your decision. It's your, your master's, your program. And she said, but I've never chosen my classes myself. So I think in a way our society is very top down and hierarchical. And our culture is like that, and the way, the processes, whether choosing your university, choosing your degree, choosing your courses, choosing your career, many things, I think we are given those decisions from somewhere else. So I think what we need to do is to develop a culture of empowerment, that as a young person, I can aim to change the world and I can dream big. And I don't have to stay in this little, area that I was told to do, and I don't have to take directions. I don't have to wait to graduate to feel I can start a business. I don't have to, feel that I've got the right instructions from somebody to decide what sector to work in. I should have the sense of empowerment. So that's my first thing. The second is that we need a culture of mentorship, and a sense that we should all be giving back. If each of us in our various sectors, and it doesn't have to be business per se, it can be in anything we're doing, we say, coaching and guiding a young person is something I value, because I can't be the only person that's successful. I have to create 10 more people like me, more successful than me. And if we do that and we think of that as a societal value, then I think we could go very, very far. So those are my two, I think, dreams. Well, hopefully what we're doing here takes off, and I have every commitment to that and every belief that will happen. So when that happens, I think the world will start to pay attention to this thing that we're doing. And what I'd like to see is how we can scale it up, link it into some of the big venture funds that are out there. We would like to start a venture capital fund. That would be a very large fund putting in money into early stage ventures. So these are the things that I'd like to see growing in this phase of my life. But every phase brings its own interests and passion.